Hey, 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 friends and family. A warm welcome to you all and thanks for joining us today. It is an exciting day around here. We are replicating my grandmother's authentic Ghanaian beef stew, which I haven't done much tweaking to, so it's going to be authentically grandmother's. And grandma, we affectionately call her Ma. She is still living in her mid-90s, strong, healthy. Only thing that's going on with her right now is her eyesight is not 100%. And despite my Emma's infirmities, she still has a huge heart. Kind-hearted, greets everybody warmly. She is loved by many. And I am just so honored today, Emma, to share your recipe, and I hope that you do not mind. So I know you will be watching this video and you'll be hearing my voice. Yes, Emma, it is your first grandchild, Nanapa, also known as Mama. Now, I have cut up some onions just like you would do to create that marinade, and I'm adding some ginger to it. I'm going to be grinding it so smooth. I'm also going to be slightly deviating from what you would do, Emma. I'm going to be adding some scallions to bring that grassy, mild, yet bright herbaceous note into the marinade. So that just went into the blender. I'm also adding some garlic, followed by some chilies. You would use papushito, but I don't have any papushito, so I've substituted with Thai chilies. And friends and family, you may substitute with your scotch bonnets or habaneros. I've also added a handful of basil, which is cloves or akokobesa in Ghana. Just now I'm adding some aniseed or inkitin, as well as some rosemary, followed by some crushed black pepper. And I'm also going to throw my salt in the marinade right now. And another quick tweak of mine in this recipe is adding some beef base to the marinade. So I'm using my Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base, but you may substitute with your seasoning cubes. I'm adding a tablespoonful of that. This is going to bring us the umami note that we need in cooking up our beef. So a tablespoonful goes in. I've added a little bit of water to move the blades of the blender to blend it, the marinade until we have a really smooth puree, which we will be adding onto the meat and rinsing the blender with a little bit of water so we don't have any wastage, and pour that onto the meat. Stir very well until every piece of beef is coated with this beautiful marinade. Just look at that. One thing I remember about you, Emma, is that your marinade always ended up being a green, bright green color, because you would walk out to the kitchen entrance and get you a handful of basil, which is akokobesa or kowe in Ghana, and add it to your marinade. I loved how you always took advantage of things we grew at home. You even grew your own vegetables. I remember that you grew a lot of tomatoes in the backyard. I just love that about you. So there it is. The meat is nicely coated, and we're going to marinate this overnight. So we'll cook the beef stew the next day. Now, at some point in our lives, I believe I was about 11, 12 years old, my siblings and I lived with grandmom when my father was studying at Princeton University in New Jersey, and my mom had to join him. So the natural thing was for us to live with grandmom, and my siblings and I were able to amass a wealth of knowledge during that time. I have the beef now, it's the next day, on medium heat, and I'm going to cook it for about 25 minutes, which gives me some time to prepare the next components for our beef stew. So Emma, what I have right now is 25 minutes later. The beef is looking like it's cooked through. I'm going to just stir it up and separate the beef from all this broth. And no, I have not added any water at all. These are all juices from the beef itself, and there is a lot of beef in this pot. And some of the juices also come from the onions and in the marinade and the other ingredients, and also rinsing the blender. So that's just going to bring us even more flavor into this beautiful grandma's recipe. During our time together, when you raised us in the physical absence of my parents. Emma, I remember that you prayed a lot. You were very spiritually driven. You still are. Which really came through in the way you dealt with human beings. Even when you were upset, Emma, the way you checked me, it was always so classy. I learned that from you, Emma. And you raised a strong woman in my mother, who raised a strong woman in me and my late sister. And guess what, Emma? I'm doing the same with my 2 little girls. Thank you so much. You are a great human being, and I love you so dearly. Right now, what I'm doing is I've separated the beef from the broth, and I'm letting it rest. I'm going to be frying it soon. In the meantime, I am prepping the tomatoes, just like you did, Emma. You would cut them into 2 and squeeze the juice as well as the seeds right out of the tomatoes. So all we have left is the tomato meat, which we're going to blend till really smooth. And I remember that you will strain the juice from the tomatoes and use the juice or the broth from the tomatoes to make a good light soup, which you enjoyed with your fufu. And then you would plant the seeds in the backyard, and when the seedlings grew, you would uproot them and replant them. And we always harvested a lot of juicy, very red, ripened tomatoes. So now, Emma, what I have is the pan on the stove. I have the oil in there, and I'm going to fry the beef till really dry, almost like beef jerky, just like you did, Emma. And the reason why Emma did this, and I remember asking her, is that so that the stew would last longer. I also remember asking Emma, why do you take the seeds out of the tomatoes? And she would tell me, "Konie kajo," meaning so that the stew does not become bitter from the seeds. Oh, Emma, I love you so much, and I cannot wait to come to Ghana and visit you. All right, friends and family. Yes, it gets emotional when you talk about someone you love so dearly. What I have done so far is fried the meat, and so it's dry. It's really dry, like beef jerky. No worries, that's just how Grandma made it, but she rehydrates it in the end. So keep on watching and you'll see exactly how she does so. So I have some onions. I have 2 very large ones and 2 medium-sized ones. I have cut them up and I'm going to be blending them. I blend it in batches to create space in my blender because Grandma always used a lot of onions. Then she also added some dry smoked shrimps, as you can see, with some garlic and a lot of paposhito, which I had a lot of in abundance the next day, because remember, I cooked the stew the next day. And my lady at the African market, she called me up and said, "I have some paposhito, so come and pick it up." So there it is. I had some paposhito to cook the stew the next day, just like Grandma did. So I have blended up all of my ingredients, the onions and the rest of the ingredients, and I got that amount as well as about half the mixture that just went into the oil. We fried the beef in. So you're gonna stir it up. And at this point, we turn the heat down to low and let it just simmer down until the color even begins to change. So I'm adding some more crushed black pepper for more depth in the flavors. So add that and add some salt to taste. So we're now cooking the stew. The salt I add is not a lot right now because remember that our beef was well seasoned. We are going to incorporate the broth, which also has quite a good amount of seasoning in there, so we have to be mindful of that. So now it's cooking on the lowest heat setting where the lid placed on there partially, and see how after about 25 minutes it's turned color into a brownish color. It is caramelizing, so the onions are becoming sweetened and the flavors are becoming elevated. Just perfection right here. So now we add our tomatoes. Another thing I remember about Emma's beef stew is that it always ended up having a very smooth texture. Emma did not like too much texture in her beef stew. And Imma made this beef stew at least once a year in a huge batch, and then in between she'll make smaller batches of it for the family. Yeah, so we always look forward to that. I always would ask her to make beef stew because I knew she was going to make it Sanla style, and it was always so delicious. We call it Sanla flo in our family. So Emma, your Sanla flo. It was always a hit. Yeah, so we have been cooking for 20 more minutes after adding the tomatoes and stirring it in, and you see now that the oil is starting to resurface. You want to stir periodically so that it doesn't burn on the bottom, and of course you always want to clean around your pot so that doesn't dry out and become a waste. So we continue to cook on low medium heat, just simmering it down to develop the flavors and also to dry up the sauce. And as you go, you will notice that the oil continues to resurface after each stir and simmering. And I've added some rosemary. And this is dry rosemary. So if you have the fresh one, that also works as well. Cover the pot back up after you stir it and continue to let it cook, because again, we're trying to dry up the stew. So you can see that the rim there, it shows that it is reducing, and that's exactly what you want to see. And now we're adding the beef back into the pot, and you're going to just stir it in just like that and see how dry the beef is. Once you stir it in and it's all incorporated into the stew, you're going to now add the broth. And that is how Emma rehydrates the beef. So add the broth, and this is a lot of broth as you can see. Stir it all in. We're going to now turn the heat back up to medium heat from low and continue to cook it down. Okay, so there is a lot of moisture in the broth, but Emma would cook it down from this stage so that the stew stores even on the shelf for a long period of time. Okay, so she's gonna cook it down to thicken the stew and cook out a lot of the moisture. The flavors become so deepened at this point. It's almost there, and believe me when I tell you that the beef is getting rehydrated. It becomes juicy and so flavorful. This sauce was to die for. Every time Emma made it, it was a happy day at home. And we always enjoyed it with rice. Now once the stew is done cooking, we're going to skim off the oil that we cooked it with. So this is what Emma did. Yes, Emma, do you remember? You will strain the seeds from the juice, and in our backyard we always had planting beds, so she would plant the seeds on there, and when they became seedlings, we would go and uproot the seedlings and replant them and get these juicy ripened tomatoes from it. That was so much that she would even share some with our neighbors. And here is the stew. One final thing Emma always did was she would add bicarbonate of soda, but in Ghana we use a similar ingredient known as kanwe. The kanwe removes the tomato taste from the stew. That's not the taste, but actually that sour bite from it. This was a crucial step for Emma, and also this helped the stew to have a longer shelf life. So yes, it preserved the stew. So bicarbonate of soda is a base, okay? It's alkaline. So it removes the acidity from the beef stew. There is acidity in meats, and there's acidity obviously in the tomatoes. And so by removing that, you get a more meaty flavor, and you also get a deepened flavor combination from all the ingredients that we used. It becomes almost sweet. In Ghana, Tree people will say frem. Am I saying that right? Yeah, so this stew has a peculiar, very distinct enjoyable flavor. So try adding bicarbonate of soda to your beef stew and you will be just very thrilled by the end result. And obviously grandma always added hekpakushito in the end to brighten the flavors. And yes, it is time now to skim the oil off. We'll save this for when we make some jollof rice. Now look at the oil. It is not as deep in terms of the red color that you would normally get from a stew like this, but that's because we didn't use any tomato paste, and grandma never used tomato paste. No, she always used her fresh ingredients. She loved doing that. And I served it obviously with some rice and some coleslaw, and just took a look at this stew here. Oh, it was so flavorful. How the children enjoyed this. It was so good. Yes, the flavors were very well developed. You taste a bite and you know that a lot of love and time went into developing the flavors. And that is exactly what I loved about Emma's Sanla beef stew. I hope that you're able to replicate this recipe, which holds a very special place in my heart, my own grandmother's recipe, and see how rehydrated the beef is. Oh, so tasty, very flavorful. I hope that you are able to try this recipe. Really hope you're able to try. Emma, thank you so much for everything you've taught me. Make it a great day, friends and family, and have fun, especially in that kitchen.